Okay. And I guess we're live. Let's see, what does the stream health say? Stream's healthy, health, okay. Let's see. Make sure that. Let's see how it looks. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's type something in here. Let's see. Okay, very good. Testing 1, 2, 3. And here we go. Quick sound check. Alrighty. So I guess we're ready. Let's go back quickly to OBS. Alright, and here we go. Recording, getting the live too. We're looking at in terms of system resources. 46%. That looks good. Okay, I think we're ready. Last sound check. stabilize the stream a little bit. Yeah, we're not testing Ryzen today. Sorry, guys. This is just like a test of budget hardware. So here at Anthem Tech, we're all about budget hardware and just seeing what not a lot of money can get you in terms of putting a system together yourself. So, given how expensive RAM has become, I'm more of the idea of trying to hang on to hardware or reuse old office equipment that gets put out of commission and things for that nature, instead of buying the latest and greatest, just so that way you can get the experience of building a PC without actually having to spend as much money. And at least once maybe prices go down for RAM in the future, you could be more prepared for something like this. So yeah, so we're gonna get started. So what I'm doing today is that I'm running a benchmark run. Let me see, not receiving that video to maintain smooth streaming viewers. What's going on? Alright, very good. So we're gonna get started with the benchmark run. Okay, alright, let's switch it over here. So, going back at it again. Hi guys, welcome to Anthem Tech. My name is Ricky. Let me switch over to a different skin. Is it still maintaining? Let's close everything. Alright. I hope this can handle it. Yeah, this is about as good as we're gonna get. Alright, very good. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to Anthem Tech. My name is Ricky. Today, we'll be testing a hardware combination that I tested last year with Fortnite, where in the quality of the video. Okay, all right. Well, let's see how it comes out. Well, I want to try to do the test live, so that way you guys can have the version of the test that includes everything that I do, and kind of like my methodology of like how I put together the test for Fortnite. And The main reason that I like Fortnite is because it's a test that's easy to replicate by anybody, and it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of performance that you can expect out of systems like this. You know, when you have like 150, 200, $300 to spend for a system, you want to get as much as you can, and sometimes you might end up with like free or really cheap parts by like luck or, you know, the random turn of events. That I would say that you can definitely consider for if you want to put a system together. Anyway, today we're going to be testing what I'm going to be calling essentially my low profile graphics cards test bench, which is just this. I'll have a link for it. I'll see if I can get it affiliated. I doubt I can. I don't know how to do that, but just so that way you guys can get an idea. But it's an office PC-like type of case that has universal mounting points, and it'll make it easier for in case I want to upgrade it in the future. I don't recommend getting something like this to build a gaming PC, because for the same amount of money you can easily put together something with a more dedicated like a standard size power supply, and then you'll be able to get a standard size graphics card in the system, which would be better. So this is mostly just to give you an idea of what a low profile office PC would perform like if you decide to go down that route. So I'm thinking essentially think of something like this. If you're going to upgrade something like this, what kind of performance can you expect out of a GPU like the one that I have installed right now? Alright, so let's go ahead and pull up MSI Afterburner and Task Manager to give you the system specs. So okay, so let's head over here to Task Manager, and okay, so today we'll be testing Fortnite. Running on the GeForce GTX 750. This is a 4GB card running on NVIDIA's 581.80 as of the time of recording, which is the latest drivers available for the card. I've been running a couple of tests before getting ready for this, and we're running on 16GB of RAM, running on dual channel. This board doesn't allow me to enable XMP, so it's running at 2133 megahertz. And we are running with the Intel Core i5 6500. This is a 4-core, 4-thread processor from the quad-core dark ages of Intel. So yeah, I mean it's a budget system that you can easily put together, or if you know, at this point, I don't recommend actually going out and building a system like this unless you're getting a good deal on one of the parts, either the CPU or the GPU, or something has to come from like a good deal. Like for example, with me, it ended up being a classic case of dumpster diving. These things were being ruled out from a manufacturer, and I was able to be there at the right place at the right time. So then it's worth it. But outside of cases like that, in rare cases, I wouldn't recommend actually putting together a system like this. But if you have like a leftover PC from like a family member or something like that, or somebody who wants to just get rid of this stuff, because there's a point when they just become junk, and I understand. But you can put together something decent for not a lot of money. The key is to install an SSD, and kind of get as much RAM as you can, especially now that with Ramageddon going on, you just, you know, get whatever you can. Well, anyway, we are sitting here on desktop. We're going to test Normally, I'm a zero build player, but for my test, I test on with the standard battle, the current chapter battle royale. Um, let's jump into the settings. So we're starting up the run on kind of like a high settings right now, more like a visual test, and this is like the graphics test, because when you switch to DirectX 11 or DirectX 12, you're running on the protocol that uses more of the graphics card, so then you end up rendering more assets that you don't need in performance. We're going to do performance afterwards. This card is too old, so it doesn't run DirectX 12, so you're gonna have to run it on DirectX 11. This would be a closer experience to something like if you have a PlayStation 4. I believe the PlayStation 4 renders on DirectX 11, but it's the one that gives you like the little grass blades and it looks a little bit better. I was having trouble getting the system to stay at unlimited frame rates, so that's why I'm running at 360, but we're not gonna get nearly that high. So we'll run a test on that, and I run this test on the medium preset. Here are the rest of the settings. And although I don't recommend testing, I don't recommend playing Fortnite with a system like this on this kind of settings, because it's not going to be the best performance. You're really better off playing with performance mode, because that's where something like this could, which would be very similar to like having an office PC, can even give you can get you close to what Fortnite considers to be acceptable competitive performance, if you think about it. Because the PlayStation 5 is kind of like, or I guess now the Switch 2, it's kind of like what I think is the baseline of what Epic thinks that is a competitive frame rate, which is 120 FPS. So that's the target that I'm kind of going for. And I know the DirectX 11 is not going to run it. I think one of the performance modes are going to have to be the one that's going to be is going to give us that number that we need. I'm trying to get to 120 FPS on average. And the way that I run my test is I don't test anything over here on the menu, because not as many assets that are being loaded, and what we really care about is the performance of when you're in the game. So I'll only give you guys a test would only be considered successful if it's at least 1 minute of in-game in the island with some building included, and then we can kind of pull out the average frame rate out of that, and then that is real in-game frame rate, to give you an idea in case you consider putting a system together like this in the future. And also, this is a way for me to get in a comparison of how the performance of the game has changed between last year and this year. Why? Because it's fun. I like testing PCs, and PCs are fun. And if you want to get yourself into PC building, it's a pretty cool hobby. But anyway, let's get started. What's going on? I think my controller timed out, or the game is struggling to load. Alright. Go to Battle Royale. I say 1 minute because, I mean, with a live service game like Fortnite, even though the island is always the same, you're always going to be landing on different places, and you're always going to be doing different things. So, you know, your mileage is going to vary. And one of the biggest things that I should point out that you should always keep in mind is, yes, I am running on Wi-Fi, but I have a 1 gigabit connection with my provider. So just keep that in mind when you're running the game, because internet speed is key. But you don't need that much speed if you are in a position of being able to move the... Okay. Oh yeah, let's... Before we do anything else... Okay, that's more like it. Oh, sorry, Cody. Totally didn't see you. So it really needs to be one or the other. Fortnite, you always get a little load a little bit. I noticed that even though ideally you want to let it load for a couple of matches, if you install the streamed assets, you kind of get the